Um,
I can attest to that.
hey, friend.
Somebody said she's right.
One of my friends in the audience, um, she is one of the part of the inspiration for the Girlfriend Hour, because when we moved here to Huntsville, she started visiting the church, and you can't sit next to me and I not speak to you. You can't even sit in the same row. You can't sit next to me. I'm gonna ask your name, where you're from, how you doing, have you eaten lunch yet?
Yeah. I can definitely attest.
That's where your baby did it from.
That's where she gets it from, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know, probably reluctantly, she accepted the invitation to, like, I guess I'm gonna keep going back to this church, but this one girl keeps talking to me. And she is my sister for real. You can't tell us otherwise. But and there's a group of us, we would go and sit and have dinner, and the conversation would be so rich like this. And we're like, this is too rich to keep to ourselves.
Yeah.
And from there, the Girlfriend Hour
Beautiful.
was born and has been now turned into a podcast. And I just want to continue in that space and in that vein with inviting more people in here physically, but also sharing it with you all online. So the first hot topic we've already dug into about community, the importance of it, and how you don't know when those connections are going to happen or how they happen, because this is 10 years later, this is 10 years later,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah.
10, 15, almost
Yeah.
20 years later. I was also thinking about when we were in the military. Now, when I got pregnant, we were at Fort Leonard Wood and doing physical training with other pregnant female soldiers. Because of my advanced maternal age, I outranked most of them. I had my first child at 38. They were having their babies in their 20s and 30s. They were probably some E4s, E5s. So they would look up to me. They didn't know my rank, but they just knew I outranked them just from how you carry yourself in the military. Because we all had on PTs, and nobody has rank on when you're in PT.
But you can tell.
But you can tell. And how some of them kind of just were attracted, kind of flocked to me, and that core group. And I didn't see them for their rank because we're all pregnant at the same time. Some of their kids are older than mine, some of them are younger. Our children, our oldest children, have turned 7 or getting ready to turn 7, and we are still in touch.
Wow.
The crazy thing is,
Beautiful.
from my okay, let's I'm gonna give y'all my perspective, my lens of the story. I met Joy. It was a military sorority thing, and I was just getting to Kentucky. I am neurodivergent. I'm very socially awkward. I have really bad social anxiety, and so one person who I knew had invited me to this event, and she's like, "You'll meet some people." And I sat in my little corner, and I'm like, "Okay, when is it over?" And sure, Joy came and talked to me, and she's like, "How are you? You know, like, what's your name?" And all of the things, and we get to talking and all of the things, and it's like, "Oh, she's such a sweet person." Like, and at this point, we're military. I didn't even know her first name, and so it wasn't until we Facebooked each other, and I was like, "Oh, Joy, that fits. That's the right name."
Right.
And so the crazy thing is, like, I had my daughter in Colorado. I retired and ended up in San Antonio, and we were just trying to find the space that would work for our family. And one of the big things for me was I need a place where there are Black people. And nothing against anybody else, but we were in San Antonio, Texas. We are surrounded by either white people or Hispanic people. And my daughter came home one day and said, my daughter has locks, and she said, "I want my hair to be flat." And it broke my heart. And I was like, she doesn't see anybody around her
Yeah.
who looks like her. And so we were looking for places and we landed on Huntsville. And I was like, I know somebody in Huntsville. I know the name. Now, mind you, we also got started watching Love and Marriage Huntsville just to see the B-roll. Because I was like, there's a show that's Huntsville. And so I was like, they show shots of the city. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah.
So when I saw Joy, I was like, wait a minute. I went to her page and I'm like, yeah, she's in Huntsville. Y'all, we got here and my daughter was about to start kindergarten. My daughter has autism. And she started kindergarten and it was so traumatizing. She was like, I would drop her off. It would take 3 grown people to peel her off of me. Now, mind you, she's been in school since she was 2, never had an issue, loves learning. And she hated it. And I was telling them, like, academically, she's great, but socially, she needs help. Facilitate something, give her a buddy at recess, something. And they wouldn't do anything. And then I had issues. I had gotten a job at Madison County school district and had an issue where they told me that I couldn't get insurance for my wife or my bonus son because they don't recognize same-sex marriage. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, and so I'm filing complaints with the Office of Civil Rights. Like I'm going through all this stuff and I was just it almost broke. It was to a point where I was like, was this a mistake? Like everything's falling apart. And I ended up giving my resignation letter. And really it was just the universe saying this is not the place for you. And then me taking her out, me resigning from the district, I had to take her out of school because we didn't live in the district and happened to be the school that's like 2 minutes from here. And Joy was like, well, my kids go to the Montessori school. And I was like, well, I'll look into it. Put Kendall, we homeschooled for a little bit, put Kendall in that school. She absolutely loved it.
Wow.
She absolutely loved it. She's back in public school now, but she's just doing so great. She was able to build those connections. She's able to like it's sometimes I walk in her room and she's on the iPad FaceTiming with Janae, and I'm like, why are these teenagers already? What is happening? But it was just so to like you say, you don't know where the connections start or what these moments would lead to.
Right.
And I always think like, man, I wish I had a picture from the day that me and Joy met because it's so crazy. Now, mind you, we haven't aged.
Yeah.
We have not aged. Just the children.
Yeah.
The children aged. We did not age. But it's so funny to the moment when Kendall and Janae met, it was like it was overwhelming to see like a conversation from at that point 6 years
Wow.
before and looking at the
Fruition
just
of
the
it.
fruition of all of the things that we were
Yep.
working for and praying for and just striving for in those moments. And so it's
That's rich.
community is man,
Everything.
because I really don't know what we would have done like when it comes to the socialization and stuff. It's been life changing. And so having that community is such a huge difference when you don't have it because it's isolation and mental health are
Mhm.
An enemy to progress.
I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you might call it the universe, but I know God's plan.
Absolutely.
He'll say, I know you can't see it right now, but you're going to meet right now. And then 10 years down the road, you're both going to live in Huntsville.
But here's the thing about that, and something that I don't even know if you know about me. So I was ordained as a minister when I was very, very young.
I do know that.
My very first sermon, my first sermon that came out of me asking questions. I was at church one day and the Sunday school, they had given us mustard seeds because they wanted us to see how small a mustard seed is. And you know, you just need this much faith. And you know, they stuck the mustard seed in our Bible or whatever, and then weeks, months, however long goes by, and there was another preacher preaching, they were talking about the faith the size of a mustard seed. And I was like, why is it still a mustard seed? I went home, I got my encyclopedia and I looked up a mustard tree. And I said, this tree is huge.
Yeah.
But if I take this mustard seed and I just put it in my Bible, and I never plant it. I never water it. I never do anything to it. It's going to be a mustard seed. So how have you been sitting in faith for 20, 30, 40 years?
Okay,
But you
preacher.
still have a mustard seed.
Absolutely.
At this point, you should have a mustard tree that is providing seeds to so many people. And this concept was, I was 8 years old. Like,
I love that.
I don't,
Tell me more.
I
Make it
don't,
make
I
sense.
know. But let's connect that to community
Mhm.
because, you know, there is a place in scripture that says somebody waters,
One
you know,
plants.
somebody plants,
God gets the
and then God gives the increase. But what happens when you think you can do it by yourself, or this person has made me mad, and you know, there's nothing I can glean from them or this relationship, and you just take on this ideology that I don't need anybody in life. It's just about hustle. You don't get the water. That whole what is it, germination, cultivation, all of these things that require parts and pieces and processes and seasons. You know, you don't get any of that when you detach or disconnect. Even the hardship, right? So there are different groups for different seasons. I know a lot of people think about support. I need support in terms of fun, you know, the brunch and the moo-moos. I need some girlfriends that understand. But there is a part of community that contributes to development. There's a part of community that contributes to, you know, change and evolution and all of these things that you don't necessarily get in the place of pleasure and fun. There's another scripture that I love, and it says it's better to be in the house of the mourning, mourn. It's better to be in the house of the mourning than in the house of the feasting. And so I remember doing a deep dive, like, let me put these two houses side by side. So the house of the morning is not going to be fun and cheerful and colorful and, you know, brunch and food, and it's not a feast. But then you have the house of the feasting that has the laughter and the what we like to call community, you know, and all of these things. But it says it's better to be in the house of the morning. And so, anyway, just adopting or welcoming the mindset that because it challenged you doesn't mean that it's not good for you. Because it's stretching you, it's cutting you, you know, it's molding you. That is also a part of community. But we see so many people, Joy, they're just sort of rejecting that because it doesn't make them feel good. So you're judging me, you know, and all of this stuff. I'm grown. I do what I want to do. We have this ideology that essentially isolate, you know, and separate us so we don't get the water. So many people, and I don't even know how to say this in a short amount of time, but I just come from such hardship. And when I think about even the origin as a child to where I am now in private practice, being a real estate developer, you know, have traveled the world and all these different things, a huge part of that is not because I'm pretty. And it's certainly not because, you know, I had all of the resources. It is the training. It is, you know, all of these things that I just mentioned that you glean from community. So when you think about becoming, you know, people ask me all the time, how did you get from abortion to this? How did you get from drug addiction to this? How did you go from incarceration to this? How did you, you know, and one of the things that come to my mind, not the only thing, but one of the things is community. The spaces that the seasons that I spent, the time that I spent in certain places that I didn't like, but there was community there. There was safety, there were lessons, you know, there was correction. All of that came from community. So